Chapter 14, Leadership, including information on the leadership team of Dr. Pepper's Snapple Group. Hello, my name is Teresa Volter. This is Team Abdullah. We'll be covering Chapter 14 on leadership in the Dr. Pepper's Snapple Group. Chapter 14, Learning Objectives. Explain what leadership is. Describe who leaders are and what effective leaders do. Explain Fielder's contingency theory. Describe how path-goal theory works. Explain the normative decision theory. Explain how visionary leadership helps leaders achieve strategic leadership. We all have our own perceptions of what leadership means, but let's begin with a simple textbook definition of leadership. According to our text, leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve group or organizational goals. Sounds simple enough, or does it? Generally speaking, most people use the terms leader and manager synonymously. Both leaders and managers play an important role within a group, a team, or within a company, but they have two different leadership styles. As the name implies, managers manage the here and now, focusing on tangibles. Leaders are more visionary and focus on vision, mission, goals, and objectives, on the future. This does not discount the skills of the leadership or the leadership styles of managers. Managers focus on factors such as staffing, productivity, and standards. If a leader focuses on challenging the status quo, a manager will be almost the polar opposite as a preserver of the status quo. Managers want to ensure goals are met, so often they are trying to find ways to improve on processes that make staff more efficient. Let's take a look into Dr. Pepper Snapple Group's leadership team. Larry D. Young is the President and Chief Executive Officer. Joining the company in 2006, he was the President and the Chief Operating Officer at the Bottling Group division. As the former President and CEO of the newly acquired Dr. Pepper's 7-Up Bottling Group, he had plenty of experience that prepared him for his current role. Not to make his career seem overly glamorous, it was Young's drive and leadership ability that allowed him to work his way up from working on a Pepsi route truck to Pepsi's president and COO before taking a leadership role at Dr. Pepper's Snapple Group. Remember that a leader is an innovator and a promoter of change that challenges the status quo. Unlike managers with a more short-term perspective outlook, leaders are innovators like Larry Young with more of a long-term view. Our textbook provided statistics from a survey of 1,542 senior managers to determine who they felt will be a more successful CEO. 47% said that extroverts make better CEOs. Despite the 53% who felt that introverts make better CEOs, 65% stated that being an introvert hurts a CEO's chances of being successful. Surprisingly, of all CEOs, 40% are actually introverts. Our textbook defines traits as relatively stable characteristics such as abilities, psychological motives, or consistent patterns of behavior. Trait theory holds that types of leaders have similar traits. Traits of a leader are drive, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, emotional and cognitive ability, and a working knowledge of the business. Having leadership traits is not enough to be considered a leader. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm just wired that way"? Well, a leader is not just defined by how they are wired, but also by what they do. This means their behaviors are those of a leader, what they're actively doing to inspire and motivate others to achieve goals. There are two basic leadership behaviors that are necessary to be successful in leadership: initiating structure and consideration. Initiating structure is the leadership behavior that has an effect on job performance, and consideration is the leadership behavior that has an effect on job satisfaction. According to the Blake-Mouton Leadership Grid, leadership high in both leadership behaviors is called team management. Most would assume that the most effective leaders employ the team management style. What do you think? In addition to the team management style, there are 4 more leadership styles described on the Blake-Mouton Leadership Grid. These 5 management styles are categorized and rated on a 9-point scale. The further up the grid, the higher the concern for people. The further to the right on the grid, the higher the concern for production. The authority compliance management style has a low concern for people but a high concern for production. In contrast, the country club management style has a high concern for people but a low concern for production. So back to my earlier question, which management style did you say was best? Well, it's been concluded that there isn't one best because no one style works well across all situations and all employees. So, in closing, under outstanding leadership, Dr. Pepper Snapple Group has benefited tremendously. Driven to pursuit of financial goals and continuous improvement through teamwork, innovation, and precise execution, the over 19,000 employees of Dr. Pepper have been enabled to create new ways of working and essentially deliver outstanding business results. Essentially, this is the result of a great leadership structure and the ultimate goal of a great leadership team.
Hi, my name is David Michael Castillo. I'm representing Team Abdullah, the Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. We are doing Chapter 14, Leadership. I am doing Section 5, which is the normative decision making theory. In this Section 5, I will describe what the normative decision making theory is, the styles of decision making, the two big key components into decision making, and the rules to increase the quality and acceptance in decision making. The normative decision theory is a theory that suggests how leaders can determine an appropriate amount of employee participation when making decisions. This normative decision theory is also known as the Vroom-Yedin-Yago model. The normative decision theory has 5 specified different decision making styles. For time purposes, I will name 3. The first is the autocratic decisions, in which leaders make the decisions by themselves. The next is the consultative decisions, in which leaders share the problems with subordinates but still make the decisions themselves. That transitions into the last one, which is group decisions, in which leaders share the problems with subordinates and then have groups make decisions. There are 2 significant components of leaders' decisions. That is the quality of the decision and the level of buy-in associated with it. Team members want to make sure that the leader has enough information to make a wise decision in order for those team members to buy into that leader. In order for team members to buy in, they need to feel a part of the process. Therefore, you can allow team members to have an input in the decision-making process, but ultimately make your own decision. As you can tell from the chart, there are multiple decision rules to increase decision quality and as well to increase decision acceptance. The normative decision theory, like the path goal theory, is situational in nature. A prominent leadership scholar has described this theory as the best supported of all leadership theories. Many people will believe that making tough decisions is at the heart of leadership. Yet, experienced leaders will tell you that deciding how to make decisions is just as important.
Start. Hi, my name is Sylvia, and I'm going to talk to you about visionary leadership.
Visionary leadership creates a positive image of the future that motivates organizational members and provides direction for future planning and goal setting. There are four types of visionary leadership that I will be explaining below. First type is strategic leadership. Strategic leadership is the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and work with others to initiate changes that will create a positive future for an organization. The next is charismatic leadership. Charismatic leadership, the behavioral tendencies and personal characteristics of leaders that create an exceptionally strong relationship between them and their followers. Charisma is a Greek word meaning divine gift. There are two kinds of charismatic leaders, ethical and unethical. Ethical charismatic leaders are leaders who create strong relationships between them and the followers. Unethical charismatic leaders control and manipulate followers and do what is best for themselves instead of the company. And last but not least, transformational leadership. That's leadership that generates awareness and acceptance of groups' purpose and mission and gets employees to see beyond their own needs and self-interest for the good of the group, which coincides also with transactional leadership. That is leadership based on an exchange process in which followers are rewarded for good performance and punished for poor performance. Thank you.